Hello, welcome to all you Geminis, and here is your general horoscope with me, Veerle, your general horoscope for March 2014, and I'm going to start straight away, but because there's a lot to tell. It's a funny month, and I know that Gemini is a sign that is associated with being funny, and believe it or not, but all the Geminis that I know, they are very, very funny. They have that, and you know why that is? Because you are ruled by Mercury, and Mercury is witty, and is a mind that can go very quick. And there is this funny month because two planets going forward again at the beginning of the month, and two planets going backwards also the beginning of the month. So there's a lot of going like this and going like that. And you Geminis, a lot of signs can't cope with that or have hard time coping with that. But you Geminis, you can cope with that. Let's start with the ones that go forward, which is Mercury and Jupiter. This is nice for you because Mercury is your ruler. Mercury is the ruler of your chart. It's the planet of communication. And when it goes forwards again, as from the 1st of the month, around the 1st of the month, you will feel that, I can think clearer than I could last month, for instance. Now, this Mercury was in is in Aquarius, so it's in a fellow air sign as well, which is very nice for you Geminis, and it will also pass through the sign of Pisces around the 17th, I guess, the 17th of the month. Yeah, I'm looking at 2013. No, Veerle. Yeah, it's around the 17th, 18th of the month. It goes in Pisces. So these are the areas of your life that are quite nice to have Mercury going so fast now through those houses, because Mercury going in Aquarius is a fellow, as I said, it's a fellow air sign, and it's in a house that has to do with travel, that has to do with higher thinking. So many of you maybe have had a not so good exam lately when you are a student, and now it goes forward again, you've got your drive again and you can go on. Or others may have traveled, it may have been a bit hard or difficult, or others simply their higher thinking was a bit flu and was a bit more difficult to understand. And now Mercury, as from the last part of the month, the last 2 weeks of the month, it will go into your 10th house, which is very good for the Gemini. It means your ruler is in the 10th house, and the 10th house is work. So it's good for your career. It's good if you want a new job. It is a time, especially around, let's say, the 22nd, 23rd, 24th, to go forwards, because you have thought a lot of it lately. Maybe to change a job, maybe to do something else, maybe to stay in the same company but to do something else, or maybe to do something on your own. Who knows? But it is a good time for that. If you don't want to change jobs, it certainly has something to do with you have a better understanding of what you want during the upcoming months as well, when it considers work. So this is all rather positive energy. Jupiter going forwards as well in your 2nd house is also very nice. Jupiter has been retrograde for a long time. It's your house of money, the 2nd house. So maybe there have been some shifts there, or you have been doing some adjustments, and now Jupiter goes forwards again, as from the beginning of the month, as from the 7th. So you feel that your income should become better, especially if you have a rising, a Gemini rising sign and Jupiter transiting your 2nd house. You know, these are general horoscopes, and you can never be perfect because no one has like a 30-degree of 1st house and a 30-degree of 2nd house. That's why it's not always 100% correct. It's it's already something very special if someone says, yes, this is me correctly. These are general horoscopes in order to give you a flavor, a bit of a flavor. But for many Geminis, when it's not on the money level, it could be just your self-worth. Maybe you, because of those other things that you're doing or thinking of, it gives you a boost in your self-worth. It's very good for the Geminis, the upcoming months, for their self-worth. So if you want to do things that you have never done before or you've been anxious about, do it now, because now you should have a bit more of self-worth to do that. Now, these were the two planets that go forward. Which planet is going backwards? Well, it's Saturn and Mars. Saturn is in Scorpio. And for you Geminis, this is your 6th house. This is quite important. Why? Because it is the 6th house has to do with our daily stuff that we're doing. It's our daily routines, it's our health, it's how to stay healthy, it's also little animals. So whatever it is for you, it has to do with rethinking and standing still there. Saturn is about structure, and it wants to restructure things. It wants to restructure your daily life. And with standing still, it can be at first a bit annoying that you've got the feeling that your routine is not working anymore, or your routine is taking too much time. Now is the time to readjust that. Not immediately. That will be for the upcoming months, not immediately changing it right away. Now, first reflecting on it, because retrogrades are there to reflect. And for you, it's a reflection upon health. It's a reflection upon, as I said, your day-to-day work or your day-to-day routines if you don't have any job. It can be just the things that you do on a daily basis. Maybe you're not doing it right, or you're not content, you're not satisfied, and now is the time to rethink a couple of those things to change them in the future. And the other, last but not least, is Mars. Mars is also in a fellow air sign, so this is quite good for you. It's in a fellow air sign, it's in your 5th house, in one of my favorite houses. It's the house of creativity. The 5th house is the house of self-expression. It's the house of children. It's the house of romance. It's the house of sexuality. It's the house of showing who you really are, your own uniqueness. Now, Mars there, Mars going retrograde, you could say, is not really happy in Libra. Why? Because Mars is a planet of action. It wants to go forward. And Libra is saying, you know, like it's a bit of a ballet dancer, Mars in Libra, because it needs to focus, it needs to know what it wants, but it has to take into consideration, you know, this person and this other person and this situation and another situation and so on. So you need to become more strategic, more diplomatic when it considers 5th house issues. So with maybe children, the combination of children and kids. Maybe your children, you have to change the way you act with them. Maybe your own self-expression, you need to change something. Maybe a romance that you just started. You need to step aside back and say, whew, I'm being a bit overwhelmed here. I have to put my actions a bit, you know, slow down, that I don't that I'm not overwhelmed. It could be anything of that. But again, the 5th house is quite a nice house, I think. I think the only thing that can be challenging is when it involves projects or creative projects that you want to blast forward and you really can't, because the planets are saying, you know, slow down a little bit. And of course they're not doing anything to you, those planets. They're just reflecting that it's good for you to ponder, it's good for you to reflect upon your actions. So I think for the Geminis it's quite a good month there. It's notwithstanding the fact this Mars in Libra going retrograde is not the nicest Mars at all. But you Geminis are quite flexible, and I think keeping in mind that you are, if Mars is also our desires, so maybe you're single and you're having an eye on someone. Just be calm and don't blast too much forward. Maybe it's just that simple. That could be the case as well. So with this Mars going retro, it simply means in our desires that we have, whether it is the desire to get along better with our children, the desire to express ourselves, we should be diplomatic. We should take into consideration other insights. And then, when the time comes when Mars goes forwards, around May that is, you will really go up a level when it consider all those fifth house matters. So very, very nice for the Geminis. Thank you, you Geminis, for watching. Thank you for subscribing, liking, ordering readings if you like. You can click the link below. Wishing you all the best and see you next month. Bye bye.